guys, this is Jess from the Abroad Guide, and today we're going to talk about how to pack for your weekend trips while you're studying abroad. When you study abroad, whether it's over the summer and just for a few weeks, or if you're going for an entire year, you're bound to go on some weekend trips. And these are quick little trips that you might take a bus for, or you might fly. And if you fly, your chances are you're going to be going on one of those budget airlines that you don't want to pay to check your bag for. So you're going to want to make sure that you fit everything for that weekend into a little carry-on suitcase. So we're going to talk about how to do that. First things first, there are some things that you should have to make your travels on the weekend much easier. And the first is a good piece of luggage. So whether you decide you want to use a backpack or a suitcase or a duffel bag, it's up to you, but my advice is that you should have something that you know is going to fit into those little things at the airport that they use to make sure that you have carry-on sized luggage. For me, I got this small suitcase when I was living in Florence, and it cost me 25 euros, but it's just the best way for me to go. I like that I can wheel it or I can carry it if I need to, but some people prefer to have a backpack or to just have a duffel bag. It's small enough that it fits for a carry-on, but it also has a few zippers that it expands. So if I'm just traveling on a bus or on a train, then I can fit a little bit more in if I need to. We do have a post on the Abroad Guide that will help you choose whether you would be better with traveling with a backpack or a suitcase, so make sure you check that out. We'll link to that at the bottom. Also, I highly recommend that every study abroad student get space bags, which space bags are, you might have seen them on TV. They're these plastic bags that you can put all your clothes in, and then you can compress all the air out of them. And it flattens everything so you can pack way more into your suitcase. Usually if you get a pack, you can get a bunch of smaller ones, which are really good, maybe for underwear or for dirty clothes. And then they have medium-sized ones like the one shown, and they have really big ones, which is really good if you're going someplace cold and you're bringing heavy sweaters or a jacket. You can fit a lot more when you get all the air out of those bags. So I definitely recommend those so you can bring as many clothes as you need. And you should also have a toiletry bag with you. Usually what I like to do, especially when I'm traveling a lot, is have a ready-to-go bag with all of my sample bottles and my shampoo and hairspray, but I also recommend having some plastic bags that you can put your liquids in for when you go through airport security. There are also some other packing hacks that you can use to be able to fit more in your bag, to bring more with you, and to make your life just easier. So if you are flying and you're really trying to keep everything into your carry-on size bag, if you have a lot of thick layers and clothing that have to come with you, I always recommend wearing everything to the airport. So if you're bringing an extra pair of shoes, wear those as you check your bag and through security. You can always change once you get on the plane. The same goes for jackets. Even if you're in a warm climate when you're departing, wear your jacket. It's going to be cold on the plane anyway. Then you don't have to pack that, and you save a ton of room and a ton of weight as well. You can also do the same for layers. So if you can put a couple of sweaters on, or maybe something else. If you have a dress on, you can put your leggings on under it for a bit and then take them off once you get through security and onto the plane. Then it saves you some room in your suitcase. A really important thing to remember for weekend trips is that you're not going to be able to bring everything you want. It's just not going to happen. Even with these tips, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you might want to bring, but you're going to have to leave behind. So to help you bring as much as possible, it's important to make sure you're talking to the other people you'll be traveling with, and to make sure that nothing that you're bringing will overlap with them. So there's absolutely no need, especially if you're going to be staying in the same hostel room, for you and 3 of the other girls that you'll be traveling with to bring a flat iron or a hairdryer. So make sure you're talking to all of them, and make sure that you are planning out what you're bringing. So one person can bring a hairdryer, one can bring flat iron. The same goes for if you're going to be going out. if you always like to have a different kind of handbag, then maybe one of you bring one and you guys can switch throughout the couple of days, and so you'll always have something different, but you won't have to carry all of them. Same thing can go for shoes if you guys fit as well. You can also do this with chargers. These days pretty much everybody has an iPhone or an iPad that they're bringing with them when they're traveling. So whoever you're staying with, make sure you talk to them so you don't have 5 different chargers for an iPad or an iPhone. If you bring 1 or 2, that should be enough that you guys can use while you're there. You're only there for a weekend, so hopefully you won't need to charge it too much, and you can just switch through when you guys are getting ready or in the morning when you're at breakfast, and you can share the charger. Also, a great way to cut down on what you actually need to pack is to pack clothing that is very versatile. So, for example, maybe bring 1 clean white shirt or tank top, and if it's a bit of a colder place, have a couple of different interchanging cardigans that you can put on. My favorite thing to do is to just bring 1 pair of jeans and switch out my tops, which saves you a ton of room. Also, if you're going to be in a colder destination, walking around a lot, and you'll always have your jacket on, don't go crazy with packing extra tops. Most of the pictures that you're going to take, you'll have your jacket on and it's going to look the same and you won't be able to see what you have on underneath. So save a little bit of space and maybe only pack 1 top for 2 days if you think that might be okay. Or you can do the same with footwear. If there's a type of shoe that you, maybe a dress shoe that you, this is for the guys, dress shoe that you are okay with walking around all day in, but then would be acceptable to go out at night in, then definitely bring and wear that pair, as opposed to bringing a pair of sneakers and then a not so comfortable pair of dress shoes. Okay, so when you pack for a weekend trip and you're squeezing everything into a small carry-on sized bag, it's a bit tough to bring everything that you might want for the weekend, but there are some ways that you can get in as much as possible. Like we talked about before, space bags are a great way to go, especially if you're going to a cold destination and you're going to have sweaters and jackets and thicker pants. Go for the space bags. Stick them in there and just get the air out, and you'll notice that you'll fit a lot more than if you had just rolled them. Another really good way to fit in as much as possible is to use every little crevice that is in your bag. So if you're packing and let's say you're bringing an extra pair of shoes, stick your smaller items into your actual shoes. Like socks would be a really good idea, maybe underwear if you're comfortable with that. By sticking into every little crevice, you're using up all of the space that you possibly can. The same goes for when you're actually packing your shoes and other maybe strange shaped items. Pack them on top of your space bags, and anything extra, stick it all in the crevices between the shoes, behind things, in extra pockets. That way you can fit as much as possible into your bag. My last packing tip for you is to always see what is available at the hostel or the hotel that you'll be staying at. There's no reason to bring along a hairdryer with you if you can rent one for a couple of euros or a couple of pounds. It just saves you room and it saves you that extra weight. Same goes for if you need to iron maybe a dress shirt, or whether you need to bring a towel or not. If you can rent it and not have to carry it, it's going to make your life a lot easier. So those are our tips on how to pack for your weekend trips while you're studying abroad. You can see any information about the stuff that we used in this video or that I talked about below. And if you have any questions about your weekend trips, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks, guys!